I'm vengeance.
Wakanda forever!
Yo, what is going on, you people? How's everyone doing tonight? I hope we all doing good. You know what? A little bit of a different intro for a different show on the channel for the Suit Up Roundhouse or Round Table. I was thinking of a roundhouse kick. I was thinking Jackie Chan in my head as I was saying round table, so don't blame me, people. It's still film related. But you know what? We are bringing a new show with you guys every Thursday, the Suit Up Round Table, where a group of us just come here, chill, have a beer, and talk about news this week. And bro, there has been a shit ton of news to come out this week. Let's go through some of the easier stuff. Let's go through HBO before we get to the major stuff that HBO is going through nowadays. But HBO, on their little press call the other day, announced that they were doing an ad version of HBO. I don't know if it's like calling anything different or it's just ad supported for $5 less. The HBO regular subscription's $15 a month. This one will be $10. The only two differences with that $5 difference is the advertisements you'll get on the platform, and you won't get the day one streaming rights on the new stuff they're coming out for, like In the Heights, Conjuring 3, Dune, if that's still even a thing at this point on HBO Max, and many more. I know this is a bit of a small thing, but I want to get some of your opinions on this. Do you guys think this is a good call on their end? Do you think this will probably attract more people? I'm burping.
No, it's horrible. It's hideous. It's vomit inducing that they're using ads on HBO. I think they said that the HBO content won't have ads, but just the name HBO being used for ad supported service just seems
weird,
wrong, and bad. And I don't support this. They're trying to do anything to get more subscribers, but by doing that, they're tarnishing the HBO brand, which is people like HBO. You don't need to make it cheaper. People pay for HBO, so you don't make it cheaper. But when you make it HBO Max, it was a mistake. And it's the streaming service I use the most for both HBO stuff and non-HBO stuff. But it just I don't like that.
HBO cannot win. At this point, they're trying
so hard at this point.
That's not even a thing. I like the idea of making it $5 less, but people are complaining that it's too expensive. That's $15 a month, and then you have other people that are complaining that there's going to be ads if there's a little bit less.
That's why you're not going to please either side. I get that the $15, it's one of the more expensive streamers. I think it is the more expensive one. But if you're asking me honestly, as a film guru, TV shows aside, I think HBO Max has a great collection of films. They have Turner Classic Movies, which I like to go back to every once in a while if you want some of the old Hollywood films. And honestly, being in film and film school, college, it's really helpful because a lot of the films that professors will make you watch are on there, on top of their own HBO original movies, which some of them are pretty good. Like Bad Education is a really good one. I haven't seen it, but I've heard amazing things about that movie. And they have a really big category of films just in general, from action to horror to comedy.
$15 a month to me is actually cheap. For what they have right now.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a good price for what they have.
They have a whole bunch of movies, and then they have a whole bunch of new content of TV shows. That's $15 is.
And the $15 goes for the stuff that they're releasing in theaters same day now too. So I think it adds more value. And I'm shocked that go deep.
But if you have the $10 a month, you don't get the new movies. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah,
that's fair. If you want it cheaper, you're gonna have to sacrifice some things.
Wait, but not on day one. You said not on day one or not at all?
No, not at all. You won't be able to watch it on the platform at all until you upgrade. Yeah,
I have a couple takes. My first thought is This is like HBO Max's like realization that they're not catching up with Disney Plus or Netflix anytime soon. Like this is like they're like, we got to figure something out here. Like anything on the horizon where this is like a start of a trend where we see these streaming services maybe go a little bit less, but the fact that theaters, people are going to be going back to theaters. Is that even potential down the line?
For me, I don't think that the issue is people are going back to the theaters. I think HBO Max, they need a superhero. This is the thing right now. Every streaming service needs like that superhero type of thing. And what is it? HBO Max doesn't have that right now. It does have Watchmen. That's over. And just overall, they have the properties and all of that. I'm just talking about live action series, not the movies. Like,
I think overall, dude, just the numbers are really, really low for HBO Max. I think out of the 10 biggest streamers, it ranks number 9 with only 42 million. And bro, Apple TV Plus has more subscribers than them, which I find crazy because there's barely anything on there, but what they do have on there is really good stuff. Because I know Gabe, you really like Servant, right?
Yeah, I love Servant.
It's free if you have an Apple phone. So
no, it's only free for a year.
Yeah, but that still helps a lot.
But it's not. They're not considered a subscriber, I think. Unless are they? Oh no,
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe not. But if they are, then that really helps a lot.
No, that's because I know what it is. They automatically already take the money from your account once that year is up. So once that year is coming up, that's when they start charging, and I think they consider that the membership. But I don't really know much about that
until that year is up, though.
Yeah. But do they even still do that anymore? Because I know they did it when the platform first launched, like 2 Novembers ago.
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to Apple TV that much.
Dude, Apple TV
it's great. It's great. It's
really good. It's better than Hulu.
I watched most of the shows.
It doesn't say much though.
They haven't started.
Right, I'm not saying much. You're right. I'm not saying much, but the things that I've seen, like I love Tehran. I don't know if you guys have seen Tehran, but that's a great show.
Jacob on
right, I've heard great things about Defending Jacob. Ted Lasso, people love Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
I'm halfway through Ted Lasso right now. It's pretty funny.
Most of the shows on Apple TV are really good. It's just
that's what I'm saying. They don't have a big library, but for what they have, I think it's really good. Because like I tried watching Servant, not my type of thing. It's like Gabe's type of thing. But dude, there's a big audience for that. Like on Twitter, whenever like a new thing comes out for like a new promo image, trailer, something regarding that show, it blows up on Twitter, I've always noticed. So it's got the fan base there. And the fact that it's like a few million ahead of HBO Max is still crazy to me. But does anyone have any more opinions on this before we get to the big HBO Max news?
There's one. I just hope that HBO Max does. There is still time for them to bring up the subscription. They're still fairly new. So 43 million right now is still good technically. It's just not as good.
I'm not going to compare, but I'll agree with you. Yeah,
I still believe that they have time to bring up their subscription, especially since they have a good amount of.
I think they even met below what they were expecting for HBO Max.
That's always the case. Even Disney Plus was below what they expected too.
Disney Plus is way above.
No, in their what's the name? It was below.
No, it was below for this quarter, but I mean they've been like they have 100 million in a year. Yeah.
They fucking launched like a rocket.
Yeah, but
they're number 3 streamer right now.
That sometimes they're always below what they expect for that quarter or for that year. It doesn't matter when.
I would just say HBO Max seems to be struggling with finding an identity.
Yeah,
I don't think they know what kind of streaming service they are, what they want to be. HBO had an identity and they killed that. They destroyed what HBO was, but they didn't put anything there, and they put an abnormal amount of pressure that did not need to be there by releasing the movies day and date. That they did not need that, and I don't think it's a wise decision.
So what I think is like when it comes to HBO Max, I definitely think like arguably, like I think Ryan touched on it, of that even for the $15 you get like a good amount, and like honestly, when people like ask like which streaming service should I sign up for, I always say like just sign up for HBO Max. You're getting the most bang for your buck. Like Netflix like has a lot, but they're losing it, and then their original content is so average, pretty much at best. Aside from like the few like extremities, obviously Stranger Things, and things like that. Like they have those good things, but HBO Max just has a lot. Plus the day of movie release, like that's something that Disney doesn't even have. And unless you have kids, like Disney Plus, like I mean, Disney Plus has a lot of stuff, I will admit, but a lot of it I don't even watch because I mean it's not my demographic, obviously. And I mean, as you guys can see, like physical media for me, like the main draw, obviously, with Disney is Marvel and Star Wars. That doesn't pertain to me as much either. So like I watch like every now and again, like obviously the streaming Star Wars, because that's the only place you can get it. But HBO Max they have
it's
so
just
much
wide variety.
Yeah,
it's
they
massive.
have all of like Miyazaki's animated, like Studio Ghibli is on there. Like there's not really, I don't think there was any other streaming service that really had that stuff, and that's like quality animation. And they have things like, and then you have like, we'll get into a little bit like the Friends like reunion stuff, the Fresh Prince reunion stuff. Like they're willing to no, I'm definitely not.
Peace Dragon is legit. Are we talking about the live action one?
Don't start with that.
I will say I respect Helen Reddy a lot, so I like that one for Helen Reddy.
Just to comment on the kids thing, like Netflix Kids is so underrated. There's a lot of solid.
I totally didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
it's actually Avatar, so that's done with. They've
got it all. They've got Coco Melon. Like I've got a very young daughter, and there's so much there. And then Disney Plus, of course. Like, and I'm in that demographic of like I grew up in the '90s. Like Disney Plus, man, it's like that and Netflix. And as much as I love Wonder Woman and these maybe upcoming shows on HBO Max with DC, like I'm sorry, like they're just blowing everybody away. It's not as much as like this ad stuff. It doesn't really matter to me. It honestly does not matter to me.
You don't even need the ads. If you just pay $5 more, there's no ads, so there's no to worry or anything. So.
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to get a lot of people that don't want to pay $5.
I would definitely not like. I get annoyed with YouTube for free when I get ads. I'm not going to pay. I'll pay an extra $5 a month. I'll pay the extra $5 a month just for no ads and a lot more, whatever. Like just
and free movies.
Yeah, like
no, yeah. And honestly, this seems like a good transition to go to like the quote unquote. Oh shit! Don't, dude. I'm not trying to snap myself right now. Anyway, dude, this is a good transition right here, bro, because this is the big news of the week, I guess you can say. So if no one's heard, Discovery Plus and HBO are merging together, bro. It seems like such a weird announcement, but I know when this came out, it was kind of confusing on what's going on with everything in total, between who's the new CEO, what's going to happen with HBO Max, what's going to wear and stuff like that. And dude, this was much bigger of a story than I actually anticipated when I woke up and actually saw it. So to break it down, you have HBO Max that was bought by AT&T, or Warner Media was bought by AT&T. I would say about 2 years ago, I think at this point. Whatever, doesn't even matter at this point. And they admitted that it's hard to bring up a streaming service. And yeah, bro, you made it seem really hard. And so what's going to happen is Discovery Plus is coming in and completely overhauling it, I guess you can say. So the HBO Max CEO, or Warner Media CEO, is going to be kicked out, more or less. He's being paid out to leave the company, and the CEO of Discovery Plus is coming in to fill his position for both CEO roles of both the companies. So that's one of them. And what's going to happen to HBO Max? HBO Max is staying as a streamer. All good. No one needs to worry about that. But Discovery Plus was also its own streamer at one point, or technically still is because it hasn't crossed over yet. But Discovery Plus, the whole entire streamer in their catalog, Food Network, TNT, CBS, to name like the big ones, are gonna
things I don't watch.
transfer over to
Not
HBO
CBS
Max.
though. Not
Yes,
CBS.
Oh,
CBS
no,
is with Paramount.
TBS, no, TBS. Sorry, TBS.
No, TBS. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
TBS. So that's like the general consensus of this merger, and AT&T is out. They completely bought out. They're
Terrible.
like, fuck this. They bounce. But I'm curious to get some of your thoughts on this. It's a big story.
That's terrible, especially since there's a limit to how much you can have on a streaming service. And to add an extra streaming service within the streaming service is the dumbest thing ever. So that means we're going to have less movies rotating within each month. And then I don't know. It's what Gabe was saying. They're struggling to find an identity, and it's.
I think we're missing here what the important part. This is not about the streaming services. This is of how Warner Media is going to be operating now that it's going to be merged with Discovery. And the thing
but
here,
they're also releasing a new name for the company too.
Yeah, probably Discovery, Warner Discovery, and Warner Media includes Warner Brothers. And it includes like numerous other CNN, numerous other things. And I think this is a fantastic decision. Like, this is the best thing they could have done, because Warner has been operated by people that operate a telecommunications company for too long, and they have no idea what the hell they're doing. They like this decision to release movies day and date on the streaming services and on theaters was a decision made by a guy who works on a phone company, and like, you know, and now they'll have a guy, I forgot his name, the Discovery guy who knows the business. He knows creators. He knows how to deal with these people, even though he hasn't done movies yet. He's been doing TV for a while, but he knows how to do this. And that's what they need, because Warner has been known as a studio that works with creators. That's what they're known for. Like they that's why they have long-standing agreements with people like Christopher Nolan, the Wachowskis, people like that. Well, I mean, he might come back after this. I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel like Christopher Nolan's too stubborn to go back on.
Yeah, Zack Snyder too. Yeah, Zack Snyder too. In a way, yes, but Zack Snyder's.
Zack already said Warner doesn't want him anymore.
Well, probably not anymore, because probably a guy who runs a phone company thought it would be a good idea to pay $70 million to kind of like fix a movie and make it 4 hours long.
Didn't someone get fired for that? Like,
somebody should. Well, I think Jason Kyler. Well, Kyler was fired for it because it was ridiculous to spend. I love the Snyder Cut, but
paid out, which is the formal way of being.
Right, I mean, he'll be fine. He'll get $20 million. He'll be fine. But I just think the fact that they're bringing Warner back to the creators is going to be fantastic for Warner. Like
this is like their third chance, though. This has to be third time is the charm, because we had HBO Max, which was not HBO Max, but HBO in general, the home box office platform channel that we had on our, you know, whatever you want to call it these days. It's not even cable, because that shouldn't even exist at this point. We had that phase, and then we started transferring into the streaming service with AT&T once AT&T bought out, I forgot who was before them that ran the company. And now we're in the third phase of a company trying to build up Warner Media and now HBO Max at the same time, because Warner Media also has a bad reputation at this point, just from the behind the scenes of Zack Snyder's Justice League alone, on top of the creative decisions that they've been going against with other creators other than Zack Snyder. And once Zack kind of got out of that, I guess you can say, cycle of going back and forth with them, you can see he just started going on a tirade of what Warner wanted from him, what they didn't want from him. And it's easy to assume that they did this with more creators. So I agree, Gabe, from a standpoint of business, it's a good idea. And hopefully it could kind of go through a rebrand and build up their hype and trust within the community now. But I think when you're looking at what they offer from like streaming and content wise, me personally, I think it's lackluster, but I think overall the corporate side is a much bigger win. So I'm just curious to know what the name is. I really hope it's a cool name, but That's just me.
I don't care about the name.
I do. I want it to be
content
cool name,
is. That's all I care about.
Well, for those who don't know, it used to be Time Warner because it was Time Magazine and Warner Brothers.
That's right,
Then
Time Warner.
Right, and also I don't know if in your city, but there's Time Warner Internet in many places that you can get.
Not in my down me anymore, dude. Those things are long gone.
Well, I mean, they're used to. Now it's Spectrum, I think, but it's also part of the team of the
now
group.
it's Spectrum. Yeah, Spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone got like any other opinions on this?
Dives.
Before we start moving on.
I'm just looking at the latest like Warner Brothers movies, man. It's pretty insane. Like
this is the thing I hate about Warner Brothers. They're good with everything else other than their superhero films. How is that even possible?
I don't know about that. I mean, Birds of Prey, The Way Back, Scoob, Bill and Ted Face the Music,
2 of 4. Okay.
Tenet,
2 of 4.
Okay. Wonder Woman 84,
2 of 6. Okay.
Tom and Jerry,
which did pretty well. Did pretty well.
Yeah,
did it really?
People like that.
Yeah,
I actually enjoyed Those Who Wish Me Dead. I don't know if it got that good reviews.
It was better than what I was expecting, at least. I wasn't expecting very much, so I don't know how much that's really saying, but it kind of rejuvenated my wanting of Angelina Jolie and can't wait for Eternals now.
But like, one of those movies is like building a major franchise. Is there one?
That's the thing.
No?
They don't need to build franchise. They're the studio that tries different things. That's what they are. And people make fun of like, oh, look how bad they messed up this movie. And it's like, yeah, because they tried something different. These guys released The Matrix. If I describe to you The Matrix in 3 sentences, you'd think it's the stupidest thing in the world. But Warner took it in and released it, and look how much people love The Matrix. You know, that's the kind of studio that they are. So they're going to try, they're going to aim high. And of course, when they make a mistake, they might make Jupiter Ascending, right? But they tried, right? Disney is not even trying. I don't know if you've seen the most recent Disney Plus commercials, but it's like, we just have what you know. What else do you need? It's like, well, I mean, I want other stuff, right? I mean,
but I think Disney is a completely different beast, though, at the same point, at the same time. I think Disney has such a wide variety of audience just from stuff that they don't even need to release, just from stuff they have released. And it just works for families in general, even if they're not releasing new things. And then they own Marvel and Star Wars.
Dude,
yeah, but that's where Marvel and Star Wars comes in. I think that's where the new and exciting ideas come from. And then they got like the Big Shot to come in.
Dude, Big Shot is terrific.
Is it? I've not heard anyone talk about it.
Big Shot is excellent. The new Mighty Ducks show is excellent. Like, it's not bad by any means. It's actually really good. And yeah, I'm just speaking to my demographic, which is watching the old Disney animated films and the old Pixar movies. That's the majority of the time what we watch. So, like you said, Ryan, like, I'm hooked with the MCU and Star Wars TV series, and that's good enough for me.
I'm with Gabe, though. I hate the idea that people are complaining that we're not getting original movies. But when Warner Brothers does something new every time, the same people complain that it's stupid, but they're trying to do original things. So a lot of people won't support those things.
Well, what's an original thing by Warner Brothers? What was the last one?
Jupiter Ascending.
All right. What about before?
What about what?
We'll get back to that. I'm gonna look up a couple movies.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look up like Warner Brothers movies. Well, they were the first one to do a big budgeted.
Well, Tenet is original. Tenet is Warner Brothers.
Oh,
right?
Tenet, exactly.
Yeah.
Tenet last year. Let's see. They I mean, fully original, because they did the first Harry Potter movie, which nobody would have imagined it would be this big. It was just a book series.
That's not original, though.
Right, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you want 100% original movies,
you already said Matrix, which I guess technically is not original.
Those Who Wish Me Dead was a book, right?
Huh?
No, it's Taylor Sheridan. No, it's original.
Okay, so it is original. Yeah, so you got.
That was actually really good. I enjoyed it.
Making Joker a solo without Batman felt original, even though it did copy a lot from Martin Scorsese. I will say that. But
Wait, what did? Say that again.
Joker.
Joker. I mean,
Joker.
Joker. I don't like it, but it was a big gamble. They tried something completely different.
That's
And they-
I don't
I
think it
don't
was a
really-
gamble
I
at
don't know.
all, Gabe.
That's a little bit.
What?
It was not a gamble whatsoever.
It was an R-rated.
Bro,
That
Warner-
was the most that was the biggest trend at the time.
No, it was a trend because Batman wasn't in it. A lot of people were complaining.
but they also put only 60
What movie
million
is
for
like
this.
Joker? What movie
Deadpool.
ever is like Joker?
Hello, Deadpool.
No, Deadpool is a comedy.
Deadpool
No,
is
it
the
was an
opposite of the
R-rated-
Joker.
Yes, exactly, AJ, exactly.
No, stop. It was an R-rated superhero film that started to gain a lot of traction. That was like that was the
Yes.
really true takeaway from Deadpool. And Logan, it started to build this snowball that you can
Yes.
actually have money-making superhero movies that are rated R. That's what
I can
The
I
thing
can
is,
give you Logan. You're right, but none of like Joker doesn't have a single action sequence.
It doesn't
Like,
need.
it's-
But I feel like we're way past that at this point. I feel like just people and film are just smarter towards it, if that makes sense. We don't need to just have something playing on and just see boom, your shot, boom, your shot. You know what I mean anymore? I feel like with Joker, they had an interesting idea, but they didn't want to risk it. And that's why they gave it such a minimal budget. The movie only cost $60 million. I mean, that's nothing for Warner Brothers at that time. That's
True.
fucking pocket change for them. I mean, look at it. They dropped 500 plus for Justice League by itself. I mean,
That was ridiculous.
Most of the low budget films are original within Warner Brothers.
that's why they're low budget.
Exactly.
Well, that's normal though. That is normal.
Well, like, okay, name a few of the most recent ones, AJ. I can't. think.
Prisoners was original.
Prisoners is great. Prisoners is
That was
great.
2014, right? I love Prisoners. Such a
I
good
think so.
film.
Somewhere, yeah, it's a great movie. But that's original. I know that.
AJ, what in the past 3 years, if you have it up?
Why don't you look at the slate of what's coming? Like you can see what's coming, and you'll
Am I
see the
doing
trend.
what's coming or am I doing previous? Right.
Do what's coming. Do what's coming. Just do what's coming. It's easier to look up.
All right.
I don't know. This DC Super Pets movie looks really good, guys.
Don't get me started with that. Oh.
Look, I can tell you the ones that are going to be premiering on HBO Max at the same
Well,
time.
In the Heights, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
not
Heights.
original though.
That's
No,
it's
wait,
not original.
That's not
It's
original though.
I don't know anything about it.
It-
I thought it was
based
an
on-
original.
It was a musical.
I
At
thought it was
first,
an
on
original
Broadway.
musical.
Yeah.
We got Man to join
Yeah,
Fury.
but is it really considered
Minecraft
an original
movie.
movie if it was a musical that was already original? That I wouldn't say it's an original movie. That's
Yeah,
just
no,
me
it's
though.
See,
Space Jam
that's the thing.
2,
It's hard to
Suicide
find
Squad.
something like
That's where it
that's
gets
Jam
tricky, though.
Do not think that that's gonna be good.
Which one?
Well, I didn't know this movie was going to come out. Reminiscence with Hugh
Also,
Jackman
bro,
and Rebecca Ferguson. Did you know
bro,
about this?
You guys also have to think about Warner Brothers and how they handle DC alone. I know we keep mentioning DC and Warner Brothers, but there's so many false promises on their end that no one has confidence in what will and won't come out from them. I feel.
Well, that's mostly superhero stuff. That's
No,
not
I
really-
agree, but in
True.
as a total, I think Warner Media. I blame Warner Media in general.
So
But
it's that.
AJ just
Oh
you can
god,
go
they're
to
coming out with the
IMDb.
Cat in the Hat movie. They're coming out with another
Yeah,
Cat in
they're
the Hat
redoing
movie.
that.
Oh,
Bro, I was thinking
Oh,
about that
good
Mike
lord.
Myers one all day, every day, baby. But while AJ is looking up that, we do have one more HBO Max project that is coming out soon. I think it what AJ's fucking dying over there.
No, I was just remembering the trailer for Suicide Squad.
The best
Dun,
trailer.
da, 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 dun. Is that what you're talking about? No,
Me?
I'm just singing the Friends too because I thought that
Yeah,
was
yeah, I got you, Gabe. I was waiting to see if you would just keep doing it, honestly. No, yeah, so the Friends reunion is such a weird thing. It's coming out May 27th. I think that's like next Thursday, a week from today at this point. Yeah, today's May 20th. So yeah, next Thursday or Friday it's coming out, whichever one. But man, I am massively disappointed with this. Like now I'm not like the biggest Friends fan. Like I think Friends is good at best. I think it's a bit overrated. But Man, I think they really scooched the pooch on this one, man. They had so much potential to like do something good with this. And not only did it turn into just like the cast roundtable kind of thing and talking, but dude, the amount of guests they got for that might as well have just been an episode of SNL at that point, featuring the cast of Friends.
I mean, it's the same thing they did with Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Fresh Prince is also different too. They didn't go into and do a script read. And Friends is also doing half a script read. They only said parts of a script for whatever reason. Like they're not even doing a full script from what it seems like. And I think with Fresh Prince is a lot of people wanted to know the kind of drama that went on behind the scenes. If you guys know, you guys know. And that was one of my things going in. I wanted to know more about the drama. Spill the fucking tea all over the place is all I gotta say. And I don't know. I feel like the Friends thing doesn't really have anything other than nostalgia going for it. I mean, it's gonna be cool to see them all, sure, but I feel like everyone has differing opinions here.
So you're saying it should be on Disney Plus because it only has nostalgia and that's it?
Amanda says I'm ready to cry with that reunion.
But
yeah, I cried like a baby during the Fresh Prince reunion.
I'm not a big fan of Friends at all.
When they had the Uncle Phil remembering segment, and then Aunt Viv came back crying like a baby. Absolutely, that show holds a special piece to my heart. But not like Friends though. Friends was like definitely later. I grew up watching Fresh Prince, but Friends was like a much later kind of series I got into. But I definitely think that like the weirdest thing about Friends is that you have characters that are so relatable, but it's also a show that you can like watch when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're like depressed. You're always gonna laugh, and it's so like escapism to the finest. Like you have all these friends like living in New York in this like ridiculous apartment. Like it is like just
completely unrealistic.
It's so unrealistic, but it's
in the
so
village.
it's so enjoyable.
Bro, it's like the perfect New York City
Rent
life.
control.
That's exactly what I'd say. Bro, living in New York City, Friends is the perfect New York City life. That's exactly what the show is based on. I firmly believe it.
It's funny because of the cast, honestly. Like you literally like watch it one time and you like immediately feel like, and you're in for the ride. Like you build this attachment with these characters and you're in for the ride. And that's the main thing. Like I'm not lying. I work in school districts. I work with kids. There are kids that walk around in schools wearing Friends shirts. How long ago did the show come out? It is unbelievable the staying power the show has had over the last, I don't know, several years. So I
think it came out in 94.
I'm really excited for Friends. I don't think I'm going to be emotionally attached like I was with Fresh Prince, but I'm all in.
Bro, and I think it's crazy that they revealed that even Rachel, Jennifer Aniston, thinks that they were on a break, and they revealed that in the trailer. Like, bro, that could have been a whole world-ending thing for people just in the show to drop on them. But I don't know. I feel like this is a bit of a weird thing. Sorry, go for it. My bad, man.
Yeah. I mean, like, I like Friends. I think it's a good show, though I haven't watched it in years. But, like, the one thing that, like, going with the, like, Fresh Prince point, the uncle, like, James Avery stuff, like, that, like, that's an emotional attachment just because he just died, like, recently. Friends doesn't have that. I mean, obviously, I don't want anyone to die, and that gives good, like, people to bring in, but I mean, like, that is something that brings, like, the Fresh Prince, and then what you said, right, with the drama stuff, that is a lot of stuff going on there. The thing is, though, like, what I also feel about the Friends one, it is nostalgic, but that's the main draw to it. That's really it. I'm going to watch it because I also watched it when I was younger, but I don't think I'm going to get as emotional, but I don't know if there's going to be any emotional things to attach to because, again, like I said, with James Avery passing, that is just straight up emotion with how much, like, he was pretty much one of the best, like, TV dads out there. Mm-hmm. And, like, it's a tragedy that he died. And then you add in how obviously original Viv and Will decided to, like, obviously squash all that beef, and that was also emotional. And There's just a lot there that Friends I don't think is gonna have.
The most memorable parts of Friends were hilarious. Like they were absolutely stone cold, drop down, hilarious. Some of the most memorable parts of Fresh Prince are those like tugging the heartstrings, like
right.
Really, they'll drop you down, like just crying, and that's part of the part of Uncle Phil. There, he was that second father you always wish you always had. You know, Friends doesn't have that. It's not to that level of emotional attachment. And I think that's the difference there is that, like when I go back to watch Fresh Prince on YouTube, I'm watching the scenes that like literally like will make me cry. When I'm rewatching Friends, I'm watching the bloopers. Pivot.
It's fun.
It smells like feet.
I watch I watch Friends an abnormal amount. Like I've seen the whole series through several times. I
cannot do that.
I love it. I mean the reunion. I'm not super excited. I saw a pretty good joke on Twitter from a Mexican comedian. He said that the reunion is going to introduce the seventh friend, and that seventh friend is Botox. All their faces are abnormally Botoxed. Like what was that? Even David Schwimmer did it. It's not ideal. Anyway, I mean, I liked it. I wasn't excited about the reunion. I was just like whatever. But I liked the trailer. I'm 100% in. I'm gonna watch the hell out of it.
One thing also that the Fresh Prince had is honestly relatively successful careers post the show, whereas Friends.
Jennifer Aniston was the only like.
Yeah, everyone else kind of just.
Yeah, I guess you can say Courtney Cox too.
They've all had something. They've all had like David Schwimmer was in the OJ
Perry
song.
Really hasn't had.
Oh, yeah. Matthew Perry. Right.
David Schwimmer had Band of Brothers. That was an awesome show.
Matthew Perry had OJ versus the
show
too.
Right.
Yeah,
he was in OJ.
Really
yeah, and
but
he was
kind of just, like,
and he's the giraffe in Madagascar.
Well, that's true. He was the giraffe.
Yeah.
I would say David Schwimmer and Aniston had the best like longevity of a career.
Oh yeah, I forgot about LeBlanc. Yeah, that's
remember
true.
that like Joey show? Didn't he get paid like $1 million per episode for that show or something crazy?
So
I stupidly like that show.
Bro,
it was good.
Bro, LeBlanc made a new TV show. I think it was a British sitcom. I could be wrong. I think it was called Scripts or something. It's on Netflix, but it's fucking hilarious. I watched the show like a few years ago, so it's very vivid, like what the name of the show is. Like I gotta even look it up at this point. But it's such a good fucking show that I don't know why it didn't bring him back into stardom. I think he's funny as hell.
Oh, I've heard of Cougar Town. I've definitely heard of Cougar Town. Never watched it.
It was canceled after
same, I've heard of that.
season or something.
It was canceled after like the 6th season, 5th season.
Like Lisa Kudrow.
Sorry.
No, Lisa Kudrow has been in several things. I was just saying they've all been in some stuff except for Matthew Perry.
Dr. Ludo too.
Yeah, Matthew Perry.
Romeo and Michelle's like prom. What was that movie? With Lisa Kudrow. Romeo and Michelle's like homecoming or high school reunion. Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. You guys ever watch that?
No.
Oh my God.
She's I mean, the newest thing she's in is Space Force, from what I can remember.
Yeah, Space Force. Yeah.
I mean, that was an awful show, but she was in it. Yeah. Does anyone have any like more thoughts and opinions on the Friends special?
I think we should move on before we make AJ.
I can't respond to Deeply Good right there.
I mean, he's not wrong. I'll give him that. I'll give Leo that. He's not wrong. I thought the same thing, bro. I thought it was a MILF porn site more than a hookup site. That's more or less the same thing. But guys, let's take a break from HBO Max for the next week, because HBO Max is in the news way too much this week. We got some exciting news for a movie that honestly I thought got canceled once Joss Whedon got canned from this project a few years ago. But Batgirl from my God, I just said HBO still connect to Warner Brothers, Warner Media still connected to that. Bro, holy shit, bro. It's still going to HBO Max. But you know what, guys? It doesn't matter. Batgirl is coming I thought it was canceled whatsoever, but we've got 2 directors coming in for this, and they're the directors from Bad Boys for Life. Sorry if I mispronounce these names. Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falah are the directors from Bad Boys for Life, and they are hopping on to the DC bandwagon and directing or co-directing the new Batgirl project that got canned for a few years after all this stuff with Joss Whedon started coming out and he dropped out of the project. Honestly, I've said this a few times already, but I was shocked with this announcement because I thought the project was dead at this point. I thought they didn't want to go back to it. I thought it was just gone in the motherfucking wind. But honestly, I got some hope for this project. I really liked Bad Boys for Life. I think most of us liked it. And you know what? I think it was the #1 domestic film of 2020, boy. I mean, that's not really saying anything. But that's not really saying anything. But thinking that Bad Boys 3 became the second biggest domestic box opening last year, it just blows my mind. But dude, I thought it was a great film, and I can't wait to see what they bring to Batgirl and this character. Bring on the opinions, guys.
I think that those are 2 great directors for me. But the thing that I'm most worried about for most people is the writer.
Wait, do they have a writer yet?
Yeah, it's the writer for.
I didn't know that.
Bumblebee, Birds of Prey.
No, I didn't know that. I thought it was just directors.
No, they got the writer too.
No.
And there's a lot of people that don't like Birds of Prey.
EG, what's your concern? All she did has been great.
No, it's not a concern for me. It's a concern for everybody else because a lot of people didn't like Birds of Prey, writing wise, and then there was a couple of people that didn't really care for Bumblebee either.
I thought they were fine.
Crazy people.
I love both of them. To be honest, I love both of them.
I like both of them, but I don't love both of them. I find them perfectly good, like popcorn flicks. That's how I would see them.
I thought Bumblebee was written well.
I'm more curious than like, oh, this is gonna be bad, or I'm worried because this writer's writing this. You know what I mean? I'm more curious than anything because she's written 2 different things: a Transformers movie and a relatively, we'll just call it a Harley Quinn film, because I don't know where the Birds of Prey played in that film, but it was definitely somewhere in there, I guess, because they titled it Birds of Prey.
See, I love the writing of Birds of Prey, other than how they wrote Cass.
Yeah,
I just didn't really care for that, so I'm hoping that she writes Batgirl as well as she wrote Harley Quinn. And I actually did like Huntress and
I like Huntress for the amount of 2 minutes.
Black Canary, yeah. She was great for those 2 seconds though.
No, yeah, I agreed. I liked Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress in that film. But yeah, I'm more curious than anything. But anyone got some more thoughts and opinions on this?
I'm super
she's
excited.
also, I think, she's also writing the Flash, I think, later.
No.
Yeah, so like,
man, I already
so she's pretty much just like DC.
Go-to person.
I mean,
that's the only hope I have for the Flash, though. That's literally like the only.
Really,
you're not I'm not a big fan of what they're doing with Flash right now. I'm not a big fan.
Dude, I've become less and less excited. I feel, bro, I love Muschietti, but bro, I don't want to be that person, but it's Warner Brothers. I don't want to be that person, but it just makes me nervous because we all know that Muschietti has a really strong directing style and vision, and I just don't want Warner Brothers to like try and interfere with that. It could be another Zack Snyder, but I don't think it will be when it comes to when it comes to like how far it went, but when it comes to just how much meandering they're trying to do to the project, because it seems like they're dipping their toes in a lot more than
I have a little hope, since they're starting to fall back a little bit, especially with Matt Reeves and James Gunn. So I still have a little hope that they might not dig too much within Batgirl or the Flash as much. Well, the Flash is. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure about that one, but hopefully they won't do it with Batgirl.
I think it's a really smart decision, because you have this super grounded, Seven Fincher-esque, the Batman film coming out. What do you know about Batgirl? We have Leo saying colorful palette. That's what Batgirl is. It's going to be very light. It's going to be very spirited. It's going to be really fun. That's kind of what Batgirl is going to present.
Not recently, though. I'm gonna say she hasn't been like that recently.
I think that's a good bet. I think that's what they're going to portray Batgirl as. So it's going to be kind of a balance of Batman. It's going to be just her, standing on her own, being this independent superhero. I think that's a really good bet. It's 100% Barbara, right?
I think so. That's what I read.
I mean, that's what it seems like now.
Barbara is like a super underrated character, I think, to use. Like you could easily turn that into, her rise from, Batgirl, like becoming Batgirl, then to Oracle, and then her return. There's a lot of potential there for that as a character. So I think this is definitely this one, Batwing, Dick Grayson. We could definitely get Dick Grayson an appearance there. But
that leads to how does it connect? Does it connect at all? How does it connect?
Well, that's
multiverse.
That's the grave that the DCU kind of falls in. That's it, right? Formal, they're just gonna try and make this multiverse. It's gonna be a hot mess where you never know who's gonna show up, essentially, right? So. I don't like that. I'm hoping this is more of a standalone. Let's actually get a good movie and make it effective and build a character rather than having all of these things connected. I'm not DC start from the ground up, not keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Do you guys think though that Batgirl can work as its own film that doesn't involve Batman whatsoever?
Yeah, if the Joker can.
No. Listen. This Batgirl has never been established before. Like Deep said, solo film. She's never been in another film, not connected to any other film, not connected to any Batman whatsoever. I want AJ's opinion more than anything, since you read comic books the most. I'm more curious than anything too. Do you think, without any connections to anything, without really referencing too many things, do you think Batgirl can work on her own?
Yeah. Even without the knowledge of comic book, especially since they're going outside of comic book knowledge anyway, especially with the Joker. I'm surely, if a writer is good enough to do anything that makes us enticed within the trailer or within the movie itself, anything is possible at this point.
But
I do believe Batgirl can stand alone as
anything is possible, just not under.
You would expect though, Batgirl, the last scene of Batgirl is her joining Batman, right, AJ? That's got to be where this goes.
That's the comic book fan to me. If I'm just saying as a film fan, that doesn't really need to happen. She can stay on her own by herself. It's not really a big deal to have Batman.
Wouldn't it technically be post her interactions with Batman? She doesn't have, I guess, because she
doesn't really.
That's my point. She connects to Batman in so many different ways. I'm more curious than anything. I'm not gonna go stomping their grave over this. I'm curious.
I'm not gonna complain until I see the movie.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious until I'm proven wrong or proven right at that point. But this is the most exciting news that I want to say came out this week, boys. And that's Rian Johnson's Knives Out 2, bro. Instant banger, instant classic from 2019. Top 5 films of that year for me. Man, I loved that film that Rian Johnson had brought us. And recently, a few weeks ago, Rian Johnson had confirmed he has a 2-picture deal for Knives Out 2 and 3 on Netflix that cost them 300 million fucking buckaroos, which blows my mind. But after that came out, the question was, who do we cast in the sequel? But you know what? Who we cast? We cast my boy Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe, Leslie Odom Jr., Catherine Hahn, and the unfortunate Kate Hudson.
And Edward Norton. And Ed Norton too.
And Ed Norton. Yeah, I knew I was forgetting someone. And Ed Norton, bro. This, looking back at the first film, they had such a unique and diverse cast with Chris Evans coming off his fame as Captain America, Jamie Lee Curtis, one of the most infamous scream queens in the world. We have the kid who played Jacob in defending Jacob, and I forgot his character in the It movies. We have that kid. We have the girl who played Hannah Baker in 13 Reasons Why. We have so many different new and old faces that everyone knows within the Hollywood community in that film. So where did people think we were going to go with this? And honestly, other than Kate Hudson and possibly Janelle Monáe, I think this cast is looking really good.
What?
Yeah, I
Janelle
know.
Monáe. Where's the hate towards Janelle Monáe?
What?
Yeah, what?
Bro, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of her. Antebellum really put me in a sour mood when it comes to her.
Ooh.
And
That's something
not
right there.
a hot take. I know.
Did you watch Hidden Figures or Moonlight?
Moonlight, yes, I liked Moonlight. I honestly forgot she was in
But
it.
she wasn't in Moonlight, was
Yeah,
she?
she played the girlfriend.
She
She was the girlfriend.
She was the sister of or was it girlfriend?
No, the girlfriend of
Whose girlfriend?
Mahershala Ali's character.
Mahershala Ali's character, yeah. But she was only in it for the very beginning. She wasn't in it for that much.
I didn't even remember.
And I didn't
she
see
was in a
Hidden
little bit in the
Figures.
middle as well. She was throughout his I think it was beginning and middle life, yeah.
Was she? I want to rewatch Moonlight again anyway. I gotta go back to
I
that.
haven't seen it since the theater. Yeah.
Jesus,
But
man.
if you haven't watched Hidden Figures, that's something that
I haven't seen Hidden Figures.
How do you not see Hidden Figures?
Easy by not watching it. But dude, has anyone seen Antebellum? I'm sorry.
No.
I can't be the only person who's seen Antebellum.
I'm watching it this weekend.
I tried to watch it.
Tried.
I'm not saying I'm not trying to say that that's a good movie, but that does not represent her best acting ability. That's all I'm saying.
Very convincing.
John Wick, Parabellum. I've seen
She
that
wasn't
one.
in that.
No, I know. I'm just Antebellum, Parabellum.
But what do you guys, other than Janelle Monáe, what do you guys think about the rest of the cast? I think the biggest shock was kind of Dave Bautista for me, because
he's the big name now.
He's coming everywhere now. So it's not really
he's gonna be in everything. He's really
he's like the Rock.
Yeah.
He's just coming in everywhere. Yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
And I saw Army of the Dead a few days ago, bro. He's such a great fucking actor and such a versatile actor that I truly believe the man can do anything from dramas to comedies. Like, my man can do it all. And honestly, the way him and Ryan Johnson are probably gonna create fucking magic is gonna be great, gorgeous. And honestly, I'm gonna call it now. I think he's the lead role. I don't know if that's really saying anything in a Knives Out movie, but I definitely think he'll be one of the more prominent characters. One of the more prominent characters, I'll say, because lead roles don't seem to really.
Yeah, isn't Daniel Craig supposed to be kind of like the?
Yeah, he's the lead, I guess you can say. So I would
Yeah.
say Dave Bautista is going to be the more prominent non-lead, the person we see the most.
I'm calling it now. Edward Norton is the person that kills.
That's way too obvious. If anyone,
I'm calling
Edward
it.
Norton.
I'm calling it.
I think we need to do a spreadsheet and we'll put money down, and whoever gets it.
that would be cool. We could do 1 or 2.
It was Agatha all along.
Something fun.
I think in true Ryan Johnson style, he will make the guy that you think is the hero the villain, because that's his twisting of expectations or whatever.
It's going to be the one with the iPhone. It's not going to be the one with the iPhones.
But I'm looking at my phone at the cast now, and I can't even imagine what this story is even gonna pertain to. I'm really curious to know what Ryan Johnson does with this film, because I don't know if I definitely don't think he's gonna go with a family film again, since that was the first one. It just blows my mind that he got these wonderful actors. Catherine Hahn is a fucking win too, especially coming off of WandaVision. I can't wait to see her in that. Leslie Odom Jr. proved himself really worthy in One Night in Miami. That film was great. And then, like I said, Janelle Monáe. And then honestly, the one that I can't overlook is Kate Hudson. I'm sorry, I don't like Kate Hudson.
Just relax with Kate Hudson. Just chill, Ryan. She's great.
No,
Stop.
she's not, bro.
You gotta stop.
Bro, the only time she was semi-decent was in a movie that pertained to her life. Almost Famous.
What about How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? She's great in that. Right?
Say
It's
that
actually
again.
really good.
You cut out on my end. Say that again. What movie?
Oh, How to Lose a Guy in 10
I think
Days.
Ryan only watched one
haven't seen
movie
that.
of hers, and that's it.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no, no.
Almost Famous. Almost Famous is hands down one of my favorite movies of all time, and she's
Is
great.
it really?
It is 100%.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was expecting to get out of tonight. Is to find out that Almost Famous is one of your favorite movies.
Oh, man.
That kind of blew my mind. But does anyone have like any thoughts and opinions on the whole cast of Knives Out 2 and what we could see in the future?
I love it. I love the whole cast. That's my thoughts. There you go.
I love
Honestly, like
7.5.
I mean, like
My
with the
money is
cast,
half.
like I think they're all gonna be good. Like Ryan Johnson, like I guess Last Jedi aside, like I think like he's a great writer.
director.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
good.
like if you've watched like his old, like especially his older stuff, like I mean, I watched like years ago, Brick, like, and he's really good at like mystery type of movies.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna be bad unless like he just stops
I also
caring,
feel like
which
Ryan
I don't think he
Johnson
would.
I feel like Ryan Johnson was too limited in Star Wars. I
I mean,
think that
obviously,
was-
you're so limited in a giant franchise like that. Yeah, bro, you can't say that he's not limited when he was pretty almost limited in that film, and you just said it.
Okay, let's
Wait,
not
what?
get into the last.
Yeah,
Jedi
we're not
discussion.
getting
into
I
the
beg you. I
Last
beg
Jedi
you. I
standard.
please
Yeah,
beg you.
that's gonna be
Jedi
fired.
standard.
Please,
That's
please.
another debate for another time.
I think
I'm
it's so
on my
funny
knees.
how I find it so funny how we're just at this point as a community where we're just like, now once Last Jedi comes up, it's just
I'm
gonna
excited.
become a
I'm
shit show.
excited for his trilogy that's coming out.
No,
I'm
yeah,
excited
dude.
for it.
The Knives Out trilogy is going to be fantastic. I love it. I can't wait to see. And I'm really happy it's on Netflix too. A more direct way for people to see this amazing franchise. But this one doesn't pertain to me as much as some of you guys. But Dave Filoni has been named the creative director of Lucasfilm, right? Lucasfilm in
Yep.
total?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Double checking I got that right because
Not
like
just
I'm not
films,
as big of a
animated.
Star Wars person as you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best news today, probably best news of the week. If there's like anyone that knows Star Wars, like after George Lucas, it's 100% Dave frickin' Filoni. If anyone's watched Star Wars Rebels, if anyone's watched the Clone Wars, the Mandalorian, the upcoming Ahsoka TV show, he's written the first episode of that. This guy knows character development. We've talked about Warner Brothers and the failures of the DCU. What's exciting about this is that you have so many projects coming out of Star Wars. There's Star Wars project, film, TV show. There's a huge universe that Star Wars is connecting. And to put Dave Filoni on the top of that and be able to create stories and create a connectivity, this connective tissue that it's all going to work out, that is what is so promising. That's what makes me so happy about this. So, I mean, how can you not? If anybody doesn't know anything about Dave Filoni, just please, after this show, go listen to his speech about the Duel of the Fates and what that meant to Star Wars, where he broke down what that is. Please, just go check that out. It is just truly insightful about how this guy understands characters. And Gabe is like laughing at me or something. I don't know what's going on. Dave Filoni, he saved Star Wars, and we're here for it.
Well, technically, Kathleen Kennedy saved Star Wars.
Yeah,
But,
No, that conversation. I don't want to
We'll
get
talk
into
about
that.
Yeah,
there,
that's
please.
another
about that later.
Last Jedi conversation right there.
I think with this news, because I didn't hear about it until I had to prep for this show a little bit, but I think as Deeves was alluding to, I think like what makes Filoni putting him there, I think it essentially puts him in a Kevin Feige type of position with the Star Wars universe, and that like we've seen obviously how well that's doing. No matter what anyone thinks of like some bits and pieces of the MCU, I mean it's connected extremely well. And if they're able to like essentially replicate that with Star Wars, that's
Bro,
I
Disney
don't
will
see
literally
I don't
be
see
a
any
fucking
problem.
gold mine at that point. If Disney,
Well, I feel like Dave Filoni has been executive creative director for a while.
He just hasn't had the
a little bit before the start of the Mandalorian. I feel like he's been in that role, and we're just now getting that news for fans and stuff. So everything that's going on with Disney Plus, with Book of Boba Fett, the Ahsoka series, that was all planned out by Dave Filoni, and I think the Mandalorian was like the testing waters. That's why we had Jon Favreau helping him out. Helping him out with story stuff and how to become a better film maker live action wise, because we all know that he is a great animated director and stuff like that with Clone Wars and Rebels and now Bad Batch and stuff like that. So I feel like what Dobbs was saying, Former was saying, I feel like he's going to be the Kevin Feige, while Kathleen Kennedy finally sits back and just focuses on the money and just all of that, the rest of that stuff. Dave
Filoni loves Star Wars. Like, if you ever see him like just talk about Star Wars, it's like Ryan talking about Infinity War. He just gets so giddy.
Or The Office.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about the score, him talking about the score. Just listen to him talk about the Mandalorian, the behind the scenes stuff. It's great. I think it's one of the best things on Disney Plus is the behind the scenes of the Mandalorian. Just getting everybody's insight, especially with all the directors, and then you have Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, just everyone talking about their love for Star Wars. And I feel like that's the start of everything becoming better within Star Wars and the fandom, stuff like that.
I definitely think with Dave Filoni, Disney knows what they're doing at this point, and this is starting to turn into, I would say, a Marvel 2.0, where I wouldn't say Star Wars as a franchise or Lucasfilm was like as like almost bankrupt as Marvel was, or even close to bankruptcy. They were nowhere. They were nowhere near that.
Yeah.
But listen. But from like a fan standpoint, just the critical reviews and coming off of the prequels that were really mixed, more negative more than anything, and even the sequel trilogy, each film progressively got more diverse. I think episode 7 there was a little back and forth. Last Jedi was an absolute divide, and then everyone just hated Rise of the Skywalker. So each film progressively went down. Gabe, please speak, please. I want to see. I'm curious.
I love The Last Jedi.
Oh no! Okay, I thought you were about to say Rise of Skywalker. Holy shit!
Sorry. I love Rise of
Skywalker.
I love Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
You love Rise of Skywalker?
I did.
I love it. I love it. I see, AJ. I keep telling you, man.
To be fair,
Dave Filoni is a Star Wars fan, and when I think about like giving the fans what they want, that's what Kevin Feige has been so good at. Like, he's been so good at giving Marvel fans fan service, and you know what that leads to, and that is a Darth Revan trilogy. And I'm just like praying that Dave Filoni leads us down this path eventually. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Can I have a quick, like, somewhat negative take?
Sure.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize in advance, especially for Two Dives. I think I've had enough Star Wars. I think the brand has been incredibly tarnished. It's just an excess of Star Wars everywhere. And the problem with that excess is that we've come to realize, if you look at it, critically, is just the Star Wars universe is incredibly limited. There's only a certain amount of stories and plot lines that it can be about, and it's just recycling the same thing. So that's why they brought in, J.J. Abrams just did what had already been done twice. And then you brought in Rian Johnson. He did the exact same thing, but backwards. So that just means there's nothing new. And then Solo was the same thing. And then The Mandalorian is great, but it's also like basically what you've seen before. And it's just Star Wars is just the same thing. So, I'd rather have it in the hands of a fan like Dave Filoni who really loves it. I don't really know much about him because I didn't see Clone Wars. I didn't see Rebels. I don't know much about Ahsoka Tano besides her appearance in The Mandalorian. So I just don't feel passionate about more like 20,000 upcoming Star Wars projects.
All right, I'm not going to try to dissuade you or anything.
Yeah,
I do agree a little bit that the live action stuff is completely limited to just the Skywalker saga. But since Dave Filoni is coming in, I feel like that we will become more diverse in the timeline where we focus a lot more with the Mandalorian type lore. focusing more on the Jedi from past, because Knights of the Old Republic is probably one of the biggest timelines within Star Wars history. It's can't even compare it to anything else. But I feel like you have Revan, you have Maul, you have Bane, you have Nihilus, you have a lot of characters that don't really revolve around the Skywalker saga. Like a lot of the
The Grand Inquisitor will be awesome.
There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot you can do, even more so than Marvel is doing right now with Star Wars. It's just that I think fans are just too focused on the Skywalker saga, and it's making Kathleen Kennedy focused on that a lot more, and that's why she put Dave Filoni in that creative seat.
And that was my biggest take as well. Like when The Rise of Skywalker was done, the credits hit, I was so done with the Skywalker saga. And this is coming from a Star Wars fan. Like I'm tired of it. So like AJ said, that Dave Filoni is going to present us, something with Kevin Feige, like something fresh, something new. And you're right, Gabe. You're 100% right. You look at Mandalorian, we're rehashing Boba Fett. You look at all these different shows that are going to be weaving. Like look at Bad Batch, Admiral Tarkin. So you're not wrong, Gabe. You're 100% not wrong that for like a casual Star Wars fan, it's like all the same kind of stuff. But there are peaks in different areas of Star Wars that there aren't like literature on. There isn't information on. So it's truly a blank canvas. And I think that's what Dave Filoni could possibly bring is something new.
That is fair. I mean, I'm not trying to like say you guys shouldn't like Star Wars. Like on the opposite, I hope you love Star Wars and love everything that's coming. And to be fair, I like the new trilogy. All three movies, I like them. Like I love The Rise of Skywalker. Like whatever. I wasn't fed up after it. I think I was at a point where I was just like, okay, that's enough. And then you go on the internet, and then it's just like that's truly fucking enough because it just become like this political thing. Like people talking. Like a friend of mine actually. I mean, a friend of mine actually told me, like, I didn't like The Force Awakens. Sorry, The Last Jedi because too many women were telling men what to do.
Nice.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you saying? Like, it's a movie about spaceships and it's just it's stupid. And just Star Wars became this political thing where everybody hates and yells at each other. And it's just like it's a stupid movie about spaceships.
Well, that's slowly becoming Marvel too, because that's happening in the fandom as well. And
a little, but not as bad as Star Wars. At least not in my
I don't think they're
so
bad
I'm
as
okay
Star
with
Wars
Marvel.
or DC though. Star Wars and DC are by far some of the more toxic fan bases.
Yeah.
That's very true.
I can definitely tell you there's two things I learned tonight, and they're both weird things. One, Almost Famous is Deep's favorite movie, and two people in this room actually like Rise of Skywalker.
Well, this is the reason.
More like one because we have.
I
we
think
exactly
it's
the
three
same.
because I
No. Deebs,
Yes.
I gotta ask Deebs, did you like Rise of Skywalker?
I hated it.
Thank God.
I actually did a review. We actually brought all of our gear, me and a friend, and did a review right after the movie in the theater.
Nice.
And if you want to look at an angry review, it's right there. It's right there. I hated it. It was shoving everything down your throat. Everything wrong with Star Wars.
All right, this is gonna be the last thing I'm saying about Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker is proof that fans do not know shit about filmmaking. That's all I will say.
That's a valid.
Oh no! Please elaborate.
Yeah, please elaborate. I'm curious now.
Okay,
I think I get what he's saying.
J.J. Abrams made this movie based off fan theories and what fans wanted, and then when they got it, they hated it. You know why? Because it wasn't
really
made.
liked that one.
What?
I really liked Force Awakens. So
I'm just talking about strictly Rise of Skywalker.
I thought you just
Force
said
Awakens. No.
Oh
Force
my
Awakens.
God, I forgot J.J. Abrams did Rise of Skywalker. Holy shit, bro. That really shows you that. Continue. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I just feel like that Rise of Skywalker is proof that even though we get what we want, it doesn't mean it needs to be in the movies because it might not flow well. I will admit, Rise of Skywalker does not flow well at all. The only reason why I love it so much because all the fan stuff that was in there. That's literally the only reason why I loved it. In the case of Kevin Feige and Marvel, Kevin Feige doesn't really care what the fans want, even though that he knows what to do.
Yeah, he does what he knows best.
This is way more accurate by Leo. The Last Jedi hate is also proof of hate filmmaking. I mean, that's you know what the Rise of Skywalker felt like? It felt like that shitty ride you go to Universal Studios with and you wait like 2 hours and you go on, it's over in like 30 seconds. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's over.
True.
All right.
Yeah.
We're unhappy. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, so we got one more topic.
Takes, but I'm not. We can leave it for another time.
The thing is that the topic,
Gabe,
and I know I was a part of it.
Gabe,
Well, just say,
shut up. You're gonna make us start fighting. I already know you will.
no. I'm just gonna say no. Relax. I'm just gonna say that I was a part of it. I started talking about Star Wars quality, and then the problem is that when I start hearing more and more, just my brain gets tired, and I'm like, ugh. Like I used to watch the movies quite often. I haven't seen a Star Wars movie, in a year, and that I never used to do that. I used to rewatch. And right now I'm just like,
Gabe hates Star Wars. Facts.
Film series always makes things worse.
Gabe,
I don't, but I'm very close to just being like, enough. Like just I don't need more Star. Like I don't like. That's why the Bad Batch. Anyway, sorry. Moving on.
Leo, all I'm gonna say is that's just a bloodbath you're asking for.
Yeah, no, I don't. That was kind of like
that will
Battleground
defend
the best sequel movie.
Oh my god!
I can't do
anyway, Gabe, you keep your mouth shut, okay? So we've got one more topic to talk about, people, and I'm indifferent on this one because I feel like it's been overdone at this point, and I want them to do different animated takes, but they announced, I think it was yesterday, that they're making another Batman animated series. Like, I get why people are excited, but it just feels so recycled at this point. Why don't they try to do something different? But I'm gonna go to Formal first because you seem to be the only one excited here.
Well, the thing is, I mean, based on just honestly the hype behind like Matt Reeves' movie, like having something with him involved, that's going like that's why they want to do it. That's one. Two, bringing in Bruce Timm again, like that, like with Batman, like he ultimately like knows Batman in like inside and out. Pretty much
differently. What are they gonna do differently?
I don't know, but here's the thing.
It's the noirish. It's that Batman animated series noirish vibe is what I think that what Form was talking about.
Yeah, that type of like style that like obviously the animated series did well, but it's like a lot of people in general, like especially people that didn't grow up in the 90s, like haven't like watched honestly that show from front to back. It's a great effing show. Arguably the best animated show ever made.
No,
I would agree.
It is the best animated show.
I would say that. I'm only saying some people wouldn't. That's all I'm saying. I agree. Yeah. But my point is that like there's so much honestly with you got to introduce like a new like obviously to new fandom, and right now the Batman that like kids have, I think the last one was the Batman if I remember correctly. I don't remember which. It was like a weird. It was like I personally didn't like it because I didn't like what they did. Like,
was it Brave and the Bold? Was it Brave and the Bold?
I don't remember. Oh, maybe it was that
either on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon. I remember it was on one of the two.
It was it.
Yeah.
I there was one after Brave and the Bold. That's why I remember there was, but I don't remember like what it was.
There was like, one that like did like Joker that like had like really long hair and kind of like he like
walked. Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a fan of that. I didn't like the take on it. So it's just
yeah.
So I personally, like Deep said, like I like the noir aspect of it. So because that's the detective aspect of Batman that isn't shown really in any live action movie, pretty much.
You stole my words.
Until the Batman.
Right.
Well, that's what it is. That's kind of why we're so excited about the Batman, is we're finally exploring the world's greatest detective. And you saw those like elements in Batman the animated series. You saw the human side of Bruce Wayne in Batman Mask of the Phantasm. That's what this is like we're actually going to be getting amazing stories of Batman, and not only Batman, but Bruce Wayne, and how his story weaves in and out of all these different villains and giving the villains the time of day. So when you combine that with the Batman and the year one of a lot of these villains and stuff, like there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential of just understanding what makes Batman, and I'm excited, man. I'm always going to be excited about more Batman the Animated Series. Come on, man! Like,
yeah, go for it.
The one thing that I'll say that is a little iffy about it, and this is kind of going back to what we just finished talking about, the J.J. Abrams part is like, I'm not confident in that yet. Like, that's the only kind of like yellow flag of hesitance that I have about that series, because J.J. Abrams hasn't, like, he's done decent things, but he hasn't hit every mark. Like, Lost was not.
I wonder.
I didn't finish that show, but
I wonder
what I heard, it wasn't.
Mission Impossible 3 was pretty baller. I was almost saying.
I wonder what theme song we're gonna get for the show, because you had Batman the Animated Series. A lot of it came from the '89 Batman theme song. I wonder if we're gonna get the theme song of the new Batman animated show, part of the Batman theme song. That'd be really fun.
Nah, yeah. Does anyone have any more opinions on this? Because we don't really know too much about this. It feels like a sort of, in my opinion, Gotham show versus the DC HBO Max one they're doing pretty soon. You know how people were fighting that they're one and one the same thing? I feel like it could be the same thing with the new Batman animated series, that they could possibly think they're doing something new when they're really not, and just rehashing a bunch of things from each individual show and calling it something new. I think that's like my biggest concern, but I'm not the biggest animation guy in the world. I think they need to like really sell me over at least. But before we start wrapping it up, does anyone have any more final thoughts here?
I will say something real quick. I think I don't personally care at all about this show. I'm not a big fan of animation, and I've seen enough Batman, animated Batman. But I would say that one, for my friends like Deeps, Dives, that really like it, I feel happy, because when I saw it, I immediately thought of you, Dives. I was like, he's gonna love it, because I know you love the animated series. I mean, you know what? I remember as a kid being bored by that show, so I haven't seen it recently. Maybe it's great. But so for you guys, I feel really excited that you're gonna get something new. I mean, I feel it's great, and to be honest, like, for us, the animated series represented a lot. The first time I was exposed to villains like Mr. Freeze or Poison Ivy, or many of those villains, was that show. So
Harley Quinn.
Why not make a new one? Harley Quinn, of course, yeah. So why not make a new one for the future generations, right? Make something for kids to watch, and then they will think about it when they're 30 years old and still talking about these things,
But do you think we're still in that? But do you think we're still in that era where a bunch of with the world we live in now, with phones, all the technology? Do you think that kids are gonna just be forced like down to sit and watch things on TV as much as they do, that we did, at least? I would say. I think it's a much different world we live in.
It's fair. I mean, probably not. But what we have to remember is that we're 30-year-olds talking about these things, and it's great, or 20-somethings. I don't know how old you guys are, but these characters are made for kids. They're made for children, and this show should be made for kids. It shouldn't be R-rated. That's what I'd like to see.
And that's what why Batman the Animated Series was so profound. It was like this dark. Something like on Fox Kids on a Saturday morning. Like, what is this doing here? Like, it was just something so different than everything else. Like, probably Beast Wars came on before it, followed by Tiny Toons. You know what I mean? Like, it did not fit at all. And I think that's what was so special about it and memorable.
But it was still like friendly enough that a kid like us would watch.
It's a little dry.
Yeah.
It's a little dry.
Yeah.
It's a little dry. I'm not gonna lie. Other than like the Joker, what was that song like? Batman smells, Robin laid. And then,
Meg,
other than
yeah, the
that,
Christmas jingle, bro. Who
The
doesn't
Christmas
love that
jingle,
jingle?
other than that, like there's nothing that kid friendly about it. Like it's kind of dry in that it's all story, at least from what I read last time I watched.
Yeah, I
No,
agree.
yeah.
I think it has like some kid aspects to it. Obviously like nice colors and stuff, and there are some kid jokes every now and again, but there's just as much, if not more, adult, like real adult like themes. Like honestly, the Bruce Timm like universe is like they deal with like topics of like early death and like how do kids like process that, like, and then how that ties into religion, and like this is an animated cartoon on Saturday morning. Like this is a show, these are shows that you like I didn't when I rewatched it like maybe a few years ago, but you don't think of that as a kid. You remember like Batman's really cool punching this one villain. Like that's what you remember, and that's going to happen in the show because it's a Batman show. But like when you're an adult and you go back and like look at it, and even like early adult, you realize that there's a lot more just adult themes in it, and that's why it lasts, like the fandom of it lasts so long. At least that's for why it's lasted so long for me. And then you obviously have the extended stuff like Batman Beyond and Static Shock, but that's another topic for another day. But like there's like a bunch of things that like came from this Bruce Timm like universe, and like if they keep that going, I mean, yeah, they can come up with some new stories. I'm all for that too, as long as they don't do the killing joke again. That's okay. They can stay away from that, but everything else like they'll stay with.
Do you remember
yeah.
the one story about Charlie? There was one episode with Charlie. AJ, you remember this one where there's like an accountant where Charlie's driving and he like gives Joker the bird, and Joker pulls off the side of the road and like gives him like a card saying like, you owe me a favor, like I'm gonna kill you, but instead you owe me a favor down the line. Like then it like fast forwards time, and then like it pretty much ends with Charlie like going batshit crazy and making Joker scared. Like there's nothing kid friendly about that story. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's so interesting. I loved it.
No, yeah, guys. Wow. This is a long episode. I didn't think we'd run an hour and 20 minutes on the first episode of the Suit Up Roundtable. But before we start closing out, guys, Gabe, where can we find and follow you, my man?
You can find me at Film Opinionitis on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and filmopinionitis.com, where I write reviews about stuff like this, but also other things. Most recently, I wrote sort of like a love letter. So check that out, because I'm part of that one.
Damn, that's sick. What about you, Formal? Where can we find you, my man?
At the Formal Review, pretty much Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, post reviews on a podcast. Yeah, and also trailer reactions and stuff like that.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming to our very first Suit Up Roundtable. But before you go, guys, don't forget to tune in tomorrow for these two lovely bastards review of The Bad Batch tomorrow. I think it's going to be around 6 o'clock. I could be wrong, but check our Twitter for that for the time. And then soon after, me, AJ, and Loretto are coming back with Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's version, versus Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero's version, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, guys, we'll see you then. Peace.